So the next part, let's talk about and I'm just continuous. I'm not doing like re-intros or anything like that. I'm just gonna try to put this in a playlist and just constantly run the video so you guys could watch it. I'm just gonna label each one on what I'm talking about on the topic. All right. Um, so this one now, let's talk a little bit about the stance or positioning, right? So people talk about um, stances, right? So they have like isosceles where you stand shoulder width apart, right? And you're just kind of square where your target, right? They talk about this like weaver, this whole bladed situation. And then we have the modified weaver, which is kind of like what the modern day shooters use. Um, in law enforcement, military, it's what you'll see a lot of now in days. Especially now with more people being conscious of like moving and shooting or shooting while moving or actually like having to like get out of there or get off the X or get off the hot zone, right? So biggest thing here is realize real quick, let's be practical and let's be real. You're not always going to be standing when you're shooting. You might end up in a situation where you'll end up prone, you'll end up kneeling, you'll end up leaning against something, you'll end up off balance with one leg up, right? So do you have to practice all those right out of the gate? No, you don't. But you do have to have some sort of realism to it and understand that you're not always going to be in this like solid base standing position, right? As a civilian carrying a firearm in a concealed carry position, if that's your primary use, again, you're more likely to get into a firefight, a shooting in like a parking lot where you're leaning up and banging up against cars, right? What, like the carts at Walmart or Target. Okay, you're not going to just be in the nice open field like I have here in my backyard. Okay, so just think about that. Okay, be practical and be real about it. So anyway, off that soapbox, let's talk a little bit about the stance that I like. So I like modified weaver. All right, it's like this. As you can see, think of it as like a fighting stance. So just like I'm fighting, but now I have a gun. So this hand here, like this is my jab, like my spear, right? I just take that gun and put it right into my jabbing hand, right into that spear, and I'm driving the gun out. So as I am engaging, I can drive out, and I have my back leg like on my heels just here, or excuse me, not on my, off my heels, on the ball of my feet, planted like that. The ball of my foot is planted. My whole left foot is planted down. Okay, heel, ball of foot, everything. Right foot, I'm just more on the ball of my foot. My heel isn't touching. Okay, the reason for that is I have all the support and I'm thrusting forward and pushing into the firearm. Okay, I like this. It gives me way more support and way more stability. So also, as I need to move, I can bring the gun in and just turn my hips and go. Okay, and look, I already have a foot forward so that I can just start walking. All right, that's why I prefer this stance. Okay, for my newer shooters, it's okay to go with the isosceles. All right, it's okay to go with that isosceles. All right, so if you're gonna go with that isosceles, I recommend, again, leg shoulder width apart, sit on the shot. As you can see, my butt is a little bit back and I'm leaning just a tad bit over my hips as I'm pushing my keister out. All right, and then I'm leaning into that firearm. Bang. All right, that's what I prefer for my newer shooters when I'm just teaching somebody how to shoot. They've never shot a gun before, or like testing purposes for Department of Criminal Justice Services when I teach private security. Like, that's the stuff I have them just learn at 3 yards, so they're comfortable with the firearm. They have a good platform under them. But for practical purposes, I prefer this. All right, this is like your modified weaver. All right, some people like talk about this like being like a kickstand on a bicycle. So think about that, okay? As you can see, there's a bend to both my knees. I do everything that I just did in the last video, you know, elbow up, good draw, good grip, present out, and then I'm in a good shooting position, okay? I'm still not aiming. We're not working on that yet. I'm just still looking over the gun. I'm just getting good presentation, good draw, good stance, okay? As we start working on those, just the draw, the good grip, the draw, and falling into a good stance or position, then we'll start adding the more advanced stuff. But you can shoot a handgun from a kneeling position, right? Shoot a handgun from a kneeling position, okay? It is possible. You can shoot it from a prone. Again, in more of my advanced videos, I'll explain that. For my lefties, so as you can see, you kind of have to find the footing that's comfortable. But I'm here with my right foot back because I'm using my right hand and my left foot forward. For my lefties, just switch your feet and try that. Bang. Again, I'm just looking over the gun. All right, no aiming or anything yet. I want you to really find your footing, make sure you have a really good grip, positive control of that firearm, and then we'll work on the next steps from there.